a look at the person next to you. Say God loves you and I love you too. Now feel the love in the sanctuary. Lift your voice and repeat after me. We come together, 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 we come together. In the name of love, we come together, 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 we come together. In the name of love. Now look at the person next to you. Say, I recognize the God in you. Feel the love in the sanctuary. Now lift your voice and repeat after me. Oh, we come together, 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 we come together. In the name of love, we come together, we come together, we come together, we come together, we come together. In the name of love, from every walk of life, every walk of life, every creed and color, every creed and color, in kinship we unite. In honor of the God in each other. Take a look at the person next to you. Say namaste, I bow to you. I feel the love in the sanctuary. Feel the love in the sanctuary. Lift your voice and repeat after me. Oh, we come together. 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 In the name of love. We come together. 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 In the name of love. We come together. 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 In the name of love. We come together. We come together. We come together. We come together. We come together.
Please stand as we join Kim Shar Meredith as she sings There Is Only Love.
Good morning, Unity of Springfield. I love this song by our friend Karen Drucker. I invite you to sing along and rest in this love. In this moment, in this place, I remember who I am, letting fear and worry fall away from me. I open my eyes and see there is only love. There is only love. Love that heals, love that sets us free. There is only love. When I lose myself, when it seems I've lost my way, when I go inside and quiet my mind, I can hear Spirit gently say, there is only love. There is only sets us free. There is only love. There is only love. There is only love. There is only love.
Welcome again. As you will note, we have lit the Christ candle at the front of our church, and we now join our hearts and minds together with Unity Church of God in Somerville, Massachusetts. All that way as we bow our heads. Divine Spirit, as we begin this service, we are grateful for your oneness with us and our oneness with each other. We are glad to be able to celebrate that on this lovely fall day. We are filled with gratitude for the beauty that surrounds us as leaves begin to turn and harvest time approaches. Thank you for the wonders of this world in which we live. We are grateful for each other, and we are grateful to be here today to celebrate your presence with us. Amen.
We are so glad you are here to join us today for worship. We extend a special welcome to those of you visiting today for the first time. Unity is a worldwide spiritual movement. We are an inclusive community, and we welcome all people. Our announcements for today: Tuesdays at 11 a.m., Ruth is hosting our Silent Unity Prayer Service in Zoom. Wednesdays at 5:30, Karen is leading the Gathering Meditation via Zoom. On Monday, September 27th, from 1 to 2 p.m., the church will be hosting a flu clinic provided by the Sangamon County Department of Public Health. The clinic will be set up in Margaret Kane Hall. Insurance is accepted, so bring your insurance card. The Minister's Book Study with Reverend Christine will begin October 13th, running for 6 weeks on Wednesdays from 11 to noon via Zoom. The book used for discussion will be White Fragility: Why It's So Hard for White People to Talk About Racism by Robin DiAngelo. Emails are sent out weekly that have information on how to join in events. Also, check out our website for up-to-date information at unityofspringfieldil.org. That's unityofspringfieldil, all together, all lowercase, .org. And now this brief Illini update. Illinois was narrowly defeated by Purdue yesterday by a score of 13-9, which means our defense is getting better and our offense is a work in progress. Creating our lives and our world through the thoughts and beliefs we hold in mind is a spiritual principle we practice at Unity of Springfield. We also know this truth, and let's read this affirmation together. There is only one presence and one power in the universe and in my life, God, the source of all good. In our Unity vision statement, together, a world powerfully transformed through the growing movement of shared spiritual awakening. And our unity mission statement. Together, we recognize God is love, individualized in all people. Therefore, we provide a positive environment for spiritual growth that empowers all to be God's love in the world. And now Deb Smith will come and share with us today's daily word.
Good morning. The words for today are, let go, let God. The affirmation, divine love, wisdom, and understanding express through me. If I feel unsure of the next step in any situation, I let go and let God. I don't walk away from difficulty or try to force resolutions. Instead, I release my tight mental grip on problems and open myself to solutions. And that first paragraph is easier said than done. I let go of my ego's desire for control and my need to bring about specific outcomes. I believe there are solutions and remedies beyond what my mind can conceive. I yield to possibility. I trust the indwelling divine presence just as I would trust a mentor. Letting go and letting God means creating space for the dynamic, creative energy of spirit to inspire and surprise me. Divine love, wisdom, and understanding fuel my thoughts, express through my words, and guide me in all ways. From the scriptures, Psalm 86, verse 11, teach me your way, O Lord, that I may walk in your truth. Give me an undivided heart to revere your name. Again, the words for today, let go, let God, and please join me in the affirmation, divine love, wisdom, and understanding express through me. And I have a postscript today, which is not related to Illini football. I was driving here this morning, and I feel spirit is not terribly subtle, and so I would share my moment of spirit. I turned on my satellite radio to the U2 station, expecting some really great tunes to energize me on my way to church. Instead, I got an interview with Buddhist scholar Robert Thurman. It was fascinating. I almost had to stay in my car listening to it after I parked. But there was one sort of truth that really struck me, and so I'll share it with all of you to see if it strikes anyone else. He said something very radical. He said, it is altruistic to be cheerful. And so I leave that thought for you to contemplate. Thank you.
Now let us listen as Karen Drucker sings, Blessing to the World.
You are the heart, you are the hands, you are the voice of spirit on earth, and who you are and all you do is a blessing to the world. You are the heart, you are the hands, you are the voice of spirit on earth, are the voice of spirit on earth, and who we are and all we do is a blessing to the world. I am the heart, I am the hands, I am the voice of spirit on earth, and who I am and all I do is a blessing to the world. I am the heart, I am the hands, I am the voice of spirit on earth, and who I am and all I do is a blessing to the world. I am the heart, I am the hands, I am the voice of spirit on earth, and who I am and all I do is a blessing to the world. I'm a blessing to the world. I'm a blessing to the world.
And now, let us quiet ourselves, center ourselves, take in 1 or 2 deep breaths, letting them out slowly. We are a blessing to the world. Each of us and all of us together, with our smiles, our laughter, our kindness, we are a blessing to the world. Today we unite in heart and mind with people all around the world. We are one in spirit, one in love. We are united in the presence and power of God within. God, our source of our spiritual strength, faith, power. In prayer, we enter the quiet sanctuary of soul and touch the essence of being. We celebrate our divine natures and set an intention to express it more fully every day. God and I are one. I am one with peace. I am one with light. I am one with love. I am one with life. I am life. I am love. I am peace. I give thanks for all that I am and all that I can be as I celebrate divine potential. We celebrate unity with praying hearts around the world. All over the world, people are uniting just as we are. We are whole, perfect, and complete in spirit. whatever conditions we may be facing in this world, we deny they have lasting power over us. We fill our consciousness with thoughts of wholeness, perfect health. We take the best possible care of our bodies and minds. We accept the love and support of those around us, and we nurture ourselves, our families, our friends. We are so grateful for you, Divine Spirit. We're grateful to know that as we believe, so we receive. As we believe in prosperity, we are prosperous. As we believe in each other, we are stronger. We are so grateful to be guided by you, Divine Spirit, whenever we call on you. Thank you once again for your presence in our lives. We now go deeper into the silence. Divine Spirit, once again, we close this time of meditation. Hearts full. We are so grateful for all that you give us every day, in every way. And now, as we become aware of the place we are in, the people across the way, we come back to this time and place, thanking you for all we have received. Amen. Well, today my talk is Lighting the Way, and it is about Charles Fillmore. First, some background. Charles' mother, Mary, was of Welsh and English ancestry, and she was only 18 when she married Charles' father. Henry Fillmore was born and raised in Buffalo, New York. He had only a few years of common schooling, and when he was grown, he left for the wilderness of Minnesota, where he made his living as a trader with the Native Americans. Charles Fillmore was born August 22nd, 1854. He was born in a log cabin in the woods in northern Minnesota near the Sauk River, which would one day be the site of St. Cloud, Minnesota. His father traded with both the Chippewa and the Sioux Indians, and the family's cabin was built on an Indian reservation. Charles had a younger brother, Norton, who left home when he was 10 years old, and there was almost no contact with Norton once he left. When Charles was 7, his father left the family and built himself a cabin miles away. From then on, Mary took care of the family completely on her own. She raised some money making clothes for other families, but the family was poor. Thankfully, in that wooded wilderness, there was a lot of wild game and fruits and berries to collect. Charles and his brother could also go fishing in the Sauk River. Charles remembers having enough food to eat, but very little else. As a child, Charles remembers having fun playing with the Native American children. They would run in and out of teepees and in and out of lodges and just really enjoy themselves. Charles went to school in a one-room schoolhouse for a few years. That school was only open 3 months in midwinter. Not long after his brother left the family, Charles was injured in a skating accident. His hip was dislocated, and he was in a great deal of pain. Medical care in those days was very primitive, and Charles was treated with, with everything at the family's disposal. As Charles said later, "I was bled, leeched, cupped, lanced, seasoned, blistered, and roweled." Infection set in. When all the treatment was done, the hip socket was destroyed, and his leg was stiff and could not be moved. That leg had stopped growing and it became withered. For 2 years, he fought the battle with the infection. Sometimes he would be bedfast. When he was able to get up, he walked about in the cabin with the aid of homemade crutches. Charles was unable to go to school during this time. When his health was regained, he started back to school, but walking there using those crutches was difficult. And it wasn't long before he had to go to work to help his mother. First, he worked in a printer's shop and learned that trade, which served him very well later when he started to print and write his own newspaper. He also worked in a grocery store and a bank. He worked hard, but he also wanted to continue to learn, as he had earlier in school. Luckily, an Army couple lived in St. Cloud at this time. The wife, Caroline, was a college graduate, very unusual for that time and place. Her major had been classic literature, and she was very enthusiastic about it. About the time Charles met her, She was attempting to interest her son Edgar in the classics. He was about the same age as Charles, and they were acquaintances, but he simply wasn't interested in classic literature. Charles was just the opposite. He was very excited about learning the classics, and because he was so excited, Caroline really enjoyed teaching him. Caroline also helped Charles with grammar and with writing skills. This wonderful learning opportunity lasted a long time, with Caroline working with him whenever Charles was available, often after his day's work was done. Working with him on whatever he needed help on or was inspired to learn at that time. Caroline was also interested in new ideas and thinking, and new trends in theology interested her and Charles. When Charles was 19, he went west on the railroad to Denison, Texas, where he lived and worked for 5 years. He sent for his mother as soon as he could. They remained close all their lives. In Denison, he met a red-haired school teacher, Myrtle Page, at a group that discussed poetry, literature, and philosophy. Charles was quite taken with Myrtle, and he had the sudden knowing that Myrtle would be his wife someday. The two became good friends, and when Myrtle returned to Clinton, Missouri in 1878 to teach, they kept their friendship alive with frequent letters. In 1879, Charles lost his job, and he decided to move to Colorado, where he became a mule driver of all things. This was very physically challenged, but Charles did it. Next, he became involved as an assayer for the mines, and then he changed to real estate. Charles had not forgotten Myrtle. They had kept in touch, and they realized they wanted to be married. Charles went to Clinton, Missouri in 1881, and the couple was married March 29th. They left that evening for Colorado. Soon they moved to Pueblo, Colorado, which looked to be a fertile field for real estate. And Charles did well in real estate in Pueblo. The family prospered too, with 2 sons, Lowell, born in 1882, and Waldo Rickert in 1884. The real estate boom ended, and the family moved to Omaha, Nebraska for a short time, and then to Kansas City, Missouri. It was a good time for this move. Kansas City was growing, and Charles did well in real estate. But the real estate boom ended, and with it came other challenges. Myrtle was not doing at all well physically. Doctors had given her only months to live. She had done well in Colorado, and they thought about moving back there. Then Charles had a dream. James Dillard Freeman wrote about it, and I will quote him here. Charles Fillmore was shown that Kansas City was the town where he should remain because he had a work to do there. End of quote. Charles believed strongly that it was a message from Spirit, so they began thinking about alternatives. His whole life, Charles had also been searching spiritually. For years, he had searched through all the religions of the world, but he had never found a place where he felt at home. New thought religions were beginning to spring up all over the country, and he and Myrtle were interested and explored different ones. They had taken several classes from Emma Curtis Hopkins. People who leaned toward New Thought and metaphysics described her as a teacher of teachers. She had sent E.B. Weeks to Kansas City to give a series of lectures. And out of curiosity and a feeling of desperation, Charles and Myrtle decided to attend. At the first lecture, Myrtle heard something that would change both their lives. Dr. Weeks said, and we all know this quote, "I am a child of God, and therefore I do not inherit sickness." Myrtle's life was changed from that point forward. She realized Spirit wanted only the best for her, and it was up to her to claim it. She had always thought she had inherited tuberculosis from her family, and that it would take her life as it had taken others' lives in her family. Now she had a new perspective. Myrtle began to tell all the different parts of her body that they were whole and perfect in every way. She apologized to the parts of her body for treating them so badly by thinking negatively about them. She thanked her body for its support and courage in helping her live. She did this every day, sometimes several times a day. Gradually, she healed. Charles watched her progress from being an invalid to being a fully functioning woman again. He watched the process with curiosity, with appreciation also, and with a knowing that he wanted to experience that same kind of healing for his leg. His famous comment about this is, "In this babble, I will go to headquarters. If I am spirit, and this God they talk about is spirit, we can somehow communicate, or this whole thing is a fraud." Charles was a brilliant man, but he was always, first and foremost, a logical thinker. No intuition here at first. But he knew that what he had seen was a real result of Myrtle's meditations and subsequent beliefs. He began by sitting in the quiet every evening at an appointed time for an hour or more. Over a period of time, he realized his dreams had changed, that they seemed to have a message for him. The first realization he had was that a real estate deal he had closed on was something he had dreamed about months before. Over time, he realized this was his way of being in contact with spirit. As he lived his life from then on, he always felt guided by spirit in the way he should go. I should add that from then on, Charles made this prayer and meditation a basic part of his everyday life. Affirming the truth, repeating it over and over, and taking it into the silence. He would do this several or many times each day. This was the way Charles progressed in his relationship with spirit. He was a practical man, so he looked for something that made sense. He was a student looking for answers, so he looked to many teachers. He observed others and their ways of understanding. Gradually, through this way of searching, he came to an ultimate understanding of truth, an understanding of the nature and workings of spirit. At this time, the Fillmore's earnings from real estate were the lowest they had been in several years. Also, a third son, Royal, was born to the Fillmores. And then, and I chuckle as I say it, Charles felt guided to publish a newspaper about their spiritual beliefs. He didn't know much about printing, and he didn't know much about publishing. But by April 1889, the first issue of Modern Thought was born, 16 pages in all. Through the years of development, Modern Thought became several other things, and finally, Unity Magazine. Issues were sold on a love offering basis, but money was slow to come in. Most of the time, the Fillmores were operating on a negative or nearly negative cash balance, and this was true for many years. Gradually, people began to give out of a sense of gratitude for what they had been given. But it took many years for them to operate in the green. The Fillmores were the perfect couple to be doing this work. They loved each other dearly. They supported each other in their endeavors. And they believed totally in spirit, and that spirit would provide all that was needed. Gradually, over the months and years, the unity we know today evolved. Next came the Society of Silent Help, a group of like-minded persons who sat in the silence every night at 10 p.m., later changed to 9 p.m., to pray for the needs of the group members and for others, always using affirmations and denials and the silence. Over the years, this evolved into Silent Unity, which can be contacted 24 hours a day with prayer needs by anyone. Study groups and then classes followed. In the early days, people flocked to the classes. The students always wanted to hear what Charles believed. Charles wanted to hear what they believed and how they interpreted things, which always led the students into a better understanding of what they themselves believed and a better understanding of affirmative prayer. Charles was a wise and intuitive teacher. In the early days of Unity, there were many parties and celebrations. At Christmas, there was a Christmas tree with gifts underneath for all the children. Major holidays were celebrated with parties. There were picnics and dances, discussion groups. The Fillmores were friendly, gregarious people, and they made sure everyone always felt at home with them. If someone came to them for help because they had no way of supporting themselves, they were likely to be invited in to stay until help could be found for them. Charles kept his real estate business going, at least as much as he could, but times were tough financially. The Fillmores charged nothing for all the hours they spent counseling people, and hours working on their periodicals took time away from the real estate business. In 1889, Charles wrote that they had no means to hire a stenographer, even though they did not have enough time in the day to answer all the letters that poured in. As they continued to rely on love offerings, Charles wrote this in one publication, quote, "Spirit moves members to contribute, And it is observed that those who manifest gratefulness, either in money, in love, or in works, are helped more rapidly than those who are neglectful. Charles' mother was wonderfully helpful during those lean years and throughout Charles and Myrtle's lives. She was able to make wonderfully delicious meals out of limited food supplies. She sewed clothes for the boys, once making suits for the boys out of curtains. Charles wrote, "Many think that we are doing work in which our compensation in some way comes out of the air. We send no bills and hold no one in our debt. We only ask that the just and equitable law be established. That law is, give and it will be given to you." Once when they were building what amounted to their first church building on a new lot on Tracy Avenue, money was slow to come in, and a board member who had a wife and 4 little children to support announced that he was going to mortgage all that he had to raise the money needed. He did that. He had attended many meetings and had come to believe as fervently as Charles did in unity teachings. That man earned back all that he had invested and much more, and became a very successful businessman. Charles affirmed perfect health for his body in the same way Myrtle had. Gradually, the withered leg improved so much that by the age of 93, he had almost no limp, and his leg was almost perfect. An amazing accomplishment. Charles' favorite Bible verse was, "Christ in you, the hope of glory." Christ in you, the hope of glory. He loved making affirmations. A few months before he passed at age 94, he wrote, "I fairly sizzle with zeal and enthusiasm and spring forth to do a mighty work." Charles was a very small man with twinkling eyes and a wonderful sense of humor. He was brilliant, and he was a wonderful organizer. He had vision, and he was not afraid to dream. He was a voracious reader, and he had great knowledge. He was a wise and intuitive teacher. He was kind and gentle. Above all, he was a true man of God. We are truly honored and blessed that he and Myrtle were our unity founders and leaders. Namaste. And now, let us take our gifts and love offerings into our hands, or, if we are giving online, into our hearts. We give with our tithes and our love offerings, and we affirm, good measure, pressed down, running over. We are grateful to Divine Spirit for all we have been given, and we give as a way of saying, we are so grateful. We bless this offering as we send it forth to do Spirit's work in Spirit's timing. Thank you, Divine Spirit. Amen. Now let us stand and say our prayer for protection. The light of God surrounds us. The love of God enfolds us. The power of God protects us. The presence of God watches over us. Wherever we are, God is. All truly is well. And now we will join with Kim Shar as we sing our peace song.
Okay, unity of Springfield, let's go forth in peace and as peace. Together. Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me. Let there be peace on earth, a peace that was meant to be with God our Creator. We are family. Let us walk with each other in perfect harmony. Let peace begin with me. Let this be the moment now. With every step I take, let this be my solemn vow. To take each moment